She's losing everything, not because of a scam, not because of a stranger, but because of her own son, the same son she once carried in her arms, raised with sacrifice and fed with what little she had. Now, it's his name on the deed that's taking away the one thing it took her 45 years to build, her home. At 70, she watches it all slip through her fingers. For 4.5 decades, she paid every installment with sweat, month after month, year after year, cutting costs, delaying dreams, skipping vacations. That house was her anchor, her refuge, her well-earned reward. It was the place she planned to grow old in, peacefully. No rent, no debt, no fear. Just her porch, and the calm that comes after a life of persistence. But then came the conversation, an innocent-sounding request. "Mom, let me put my name on the deed," her son said. "It'll make things easier in the future, less paperwork, and if you ever need help, I can step in." She hesitated. She had heard Dave Ramsey say it 1,000 times. Don't mix family and property, especially not your home. But she trusted him. She loved him. She wanted to make things easier. And so, she signed. At first, nothing changed. She lived in the same home, paid her own bills. Her son was kind. But life has a way of testing decisions made from the heart. Her son's life started to unravel. Debt, overdue credit cards, a failed business, and then collectors started knocking. Because his name was on the deed, the property became exposed. Her home became collateral, and the pressure started. First a letter, then phone calls, then court notices. She thought it was a mistake. She called her son. He dodged the topic, said he'd fix it. But the numbers were too high, the collectors too aggressive, the legal process too fast. Dave Ramsey always warned, when you share ownership, you share risk. Then came the liens, then the threat of foreclosure. The home she built with 4 decades of effort, now under siege because of one act of trust. Her son stopped answering, disappeared. Shame became distance. Distance became abandonment. She sat alone on the porch she once dreamed of growing old on. She felt the ground fall beneath her. At 70, she now had to consider selling her home to cover debts that weren't hers, or fighting lawsuits she couldn't afford, or moving in with relatives, if any were still willing to take her in. And the cruelest part? She's not alone. Thousands of seniors are living the same nightmare, a simple act of love becoming a financial death sentence. Dave Ramsey says it again and again. Your house is your shelter, not a financial tool. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your safety. At 60, 65, 70 years old, there's no time to start over, no second chances. If you lose your home at that age, you don't just lose walls, you lose peace. You lose independence. You lose dignity. Today, she rents a dark, cramped room, far from the neighborhood she once knew. She counts coins for medication, splits bread to stretch it through the week, and when the phone rings, she knows. It's a collection call, but the silence from her son, that hurts more than any debt. She never thought it could happen. No one does. But it does, because love without limits becomes a trap, and the cost is too high. If you're over 60, this is your warning. Never add anyone to your deed. Never share the title to your most valuable asset. Never confuse affection with financial responsibility, because one signature can erase 40 years of sacrifice. If this story touched you, comment now. I choose my financial peace. And subscribe. Here, the truth comes first, even when it hurts. Because only the truth protects what's yours.